Hello, today I want to talk about why passive investment feels so wrong, but is actually the best thing for your portfolio. At one time in my life, I used to work as a financial advisor. Supposedly, my job was to help people manage their finances, offer investment advice, and guide them towards financial security. However, it didn't take long for me to realize that the industry was heavily tilted in favor of the organizations that we were working for and in favor of the commissions that we, the advisors, were receiving, and not so much in favor of the clients, the people that we were supposed to help, and we were leaving them at an extreme disadvantaged position. We were pushing complex financial products, not necessarily because it was the best interest of the client, but because those products were the ones that generated the greatest amount of fees and the highest commission for us, the advisor. So I was brokenhearted, and it wasn't the impact that I wanted to create on someone's life. So I made the decision to leave the industry. Actually, I lasted less than a year. I left the industry, but because I love personal finance so much, I decided to start this personal finance blog where I share my ideas without any conflict of interest. I have been blogging now for over 15 years, and oftentimes friends and acquaintances come to me asking me questions about investing. They are often eager to know how they can make the most out of their money, and they are often expecting some intricate advice or some secret strategy. But my answer, however, is always simple and straightforward. I tell them this: just buy a broad-based index like the Standard & Poor's 500, don't trade, don't watch the news, don't try to outsmart the market, and just let your money grow over time. So what is the Standard & Poor's 500, you may ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. The Standard & Poor's 500 represents the 500 biggest corporations in the United States. It has a strong record of high performance, and most importantly, it is a passive index. So what does that mean? It means that they don't have hundreds of analysts trying to pick the best or higher running or fast moving stocks. They just invest passively in the 500 biggest corporations in the United States. So when you invest in the Standard & Poor's 500, you are not trying to beat the market. You are not trying to time it. You are not chasing the latest trends of technologies or industrials or commodities or whatever. You are simply investing in the long-term trajectory of the U.S. economy. And believe me, the U.S. economy has been doing just fine. Unfortunately, when I share these strategies with some of my friends, they dismiss it. They think it's too simplistic. And what do? They try to outsmart the market. They try to find the next Facebook, the next Tesla, the next Nvidia. And guess what? Sometimes they win, but most of the time they lose. And I have seen people or some of my friends just lose huge amount of money that they cannot afford. Yes, I have one friend that invested in Tesla and he's doing just fine, but I have many others that have lost a great part of their wealth. The idea of doing nothing seems so counterintuitive to us humans. When we watch the news, we feel like we have to do something. One of my friends at the time of COVID, when the stock market was going down, she saw everything, and I told her, please don't sell. But she saw the news. She saw that the world was coming apart. She heard someone in a YouTube video explaining what everything was just going to go to hell, and she saw. And then guess what? A few days later, the market started recuperating, and she was just too afraid to get back into the market. It took her almost a year, but in that process, she lost almost 20% of her capital. That was horrendous. So we are triggered to just follow the news, but sometimes, or oftentimes, or most of the time in the stock market, the best strategy is to do nothing at all. At one time in history, the best strategy was to find good stocks and then hold them forever. The problem is, how do you find good stock? Well, that was a conundrum, but now the answer is simple. You just buy every stock in the stock market, every stock in the Standard & Poor's 500, just by buying just that one ticker that represents the whole 500 companies. So now it is so easy to buy the best companies in the world. So now the only one strategy, the one that works, is to have patience. Patience, we are rewarded by being patient. We buy, it doesn't matter when we buy actually when we have the money, and we just sit on our hands and wait. And over time, over a period of 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you will be so glad you did so, because your return will outperform practically the portfolio of anybody else. So just do that. Just buy the broad-based index and sit on your hands and watch your money grow. Thank you so much for listening, and if you enjoyed this video, please sign up for our newsletter at alienguillot.com, and I will send you a direct message or email every time that we post new videos. Until soon, goodbye, peace.